Come and dream with me.
Welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion America's premier media podcast. Every week we get together and talk about movies, TV, and online content and help answer the question, who would have thought peer pressure would get Drew Barrymore to cancel her TV show Return? Not me. I'm your host, Ash Sobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blatt.
Nearly said Fortnite.
Nearly said Fortnite, yes.
Nearly went back to...
It's an ongoing issue. Even though I've changed the text in the doc. It's just some habits die hard. This and alcohol. On today's episode, we'll be talking about watch history, going over some news, giving some thumbs to trailers, and giving you this week's top 3. I'll kick things off. I went out and checked out the latest DC film, Blue Beetle. I think technically the newest entry in the new DCU. I don't know. It's in that weird in-between space. Wikipedia says it's part of the DCEU. So, directed by Angel Manuel Sota, starring Zolo Madu Mariduena as Jaime Reyes, young man who just graduated from university, comes home to his family who are living in the city of Palmyra City, to find his family while he was away at college. Lost the house, lost the family business. His father had a heart attack, and now he's kind of trying to work to help his family keep their family home. And he's soon finding himself entangled with the Cord Company, currently run by Victoria Cord, played by Susan Sarandon, who is setting about creating the OMAC project, which is a one-man army corps, so a bunch of human cyborgs that all fight. But in order for them to be able to implement this program, they need to find the Blue Scarab, which has some sort of powers amongst it, but it gets stolen and given to Jaime, who activates it and becomes the Blue Beetle. So if you haven't, there's a lot there. It's introducing a brand new character to a lot of people like who haven't read the comics. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think but not the best DC movie by any stretch. There are definitely moments where the CGI is not up to snuff, but obviously this was a movie that was meant to be released on Max. Like, it was meant to be a streaming movie, and unlike Batgirl, it actually got a full release. But yeah, it's a fun family movie. Like, obviously he's got a really fun family unit that he is playing against. They introduced like the idea of Ted Cord, who was the first Blue Beetle in comics history. I think it doesn't go far enough. There's like the idea, like they take so long, like introducing the idea of the Scarab and the Blue Beetle armor and all that kind of stuff. They don't quite get a chance to utilize it a lot, and then it kind of ends up the way a lot of these movies end up, with a CGI fight at the end of the film in the dark, in a remote place. But I had a good time.
Boxes.
Yeah. I had a good time. I think, strong supporting cast. There's a lot of fun jokes. Very fun tone, and clearly they kind of tease like a potential sequel or direction if they choose to continue with this. But yeah, it's definitely a film. It's definitely a superhero movie you haven't seen before, with this kind of like minority family and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would recommend checking out Blue Beetle. Okay. I think it's a good time. Dylan, you've gotten a chance to check out the Continental from the world of John Wick, which is about to release on Prime Video.
Yeah, so the first John Wick spin-off is a prequel, and it stars Winston as was not actually starring whatever that actor's name is. I can't remember. But
Yeah.
the character Winston Scott, set during the 1970s, and it's sort of how it's the origin story, more or less, of how Winston ends up in charge of the Continental, more or less, like how that all happens. It's a 3-episode. If it
So
was
to be
on
clear, it's not a de-aged Ian McShane.
To be clear, it is not a D.A.G. McShane. It has a different actor. The actor's name is Colin Woodell, actually. Woodell. So it's a 3-episode. Each episode's like, I don't know, an hour and a half, an hour or something. Like they're sort of 3 mini movies, more or less, I guess. How it plays out. I feel like if this was on normal TV, it would be like an event miniseries sort of thing. It'd be 3 nights back to back. But I believe they're releasing them week to week still, which is sort of annoying. Definitely feel like it would have played better as a back-to-back event sort of series. One, drop it Friday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. A little bit different would have been cool, I thought. But anyway, the show itself is pretty good. Like, obviously, big John Wick fan. I like those movies for the fighting mostly, less than the characters. But over the course of 4 films, they have built like some lore and world that sort of makes sense within their own guidelines and rules and what have you. And this one is set up with Mel Gibson's character called Cormac. He is the current whatever not concierge, like the head honcho of the Continental Hotel in New York City at this point. And he wants to get and kill Winston's brother, because Winston's brother at the start of the first episode steals something. Now, you don't know what that is, sort of a MacGuffin for the series to go after, but the MacGuffin is super important enough and a big deal that Mel Gibson's character sends everyone after him, to the point that he actually sends people to go kidnap Winston, who in the first episode's all the way over in England at this point, and bring him back to New York City because he thinks he may know where his brother is, and he doesn't, but he ends up wanting to help him, that he's been brought back and sort of tied into all this mess as well. This version of Winston is it's still the smart talking. Like, he fights in this, but he's not a fighter. Like, it's the same sort of character that you see in the movies. He's no more of the talker and stuff like that. A lot of the other characters do most of the fighting in this. There is some good combat. It's a mix of martial arts stuff as well as gun combat, but it's nowhere near as good. And honestly, if you expect the fights in this to be as good as the movie, I feel like that's just asking too much from a TV spin-off, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. Some of the better fights happened between a lot of the side characters. They sort of end up teaming up with this group of people who are sort of running this illegal gun shop and stuff like that, but they sort of hate Cormac, Mel Gibson's character. So all the people who sort of hate him end up teaming together to fight back against him and stuff like that. One of the characters refuses to use guns, so you get some cool fight scenes there where it's hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. Mel Gibson's good in this. I mean, he just plays an evil prick. I don't know, he's
Frustration.
yeah, and I mean really quite an evil prick, so he sort of does that well. It ties in some other stuff from the larger John Wick universe. There's an adjudicator that shows up here a couple times, played by Lex Luthor's sister, whatever that actress's name is from the Supergirl TV show. So you got some of that sort of stuff tied in, and it does leave it open to where they could maybe continue this series if it does well enough, and they could continue the adventures of young Winston Scott, I guess, if they wanted to do that. But yeah, if the main, I would say the deciding factor of is this show for you or not is the main reason you like watching John Wick for the fights, but you do not give a fuck about anything else, then I would nearly say no, because I don't feel like the fights are anywhere near as good. So you're sort of not going to tick that box. However, if you enjoy the overall world that they've been building over those 4 films, then this sort of helps expand upon that and the characters. It definitely doesn't feel like a cheap cash in. There's most of the characters across 3 episodes, which isn't too many, do get expanded upon, and there's enough meat on the bone here to justify this, I think, as a series. And at 3 episodes, it doesn't feel like they tried to stretch it out into something more than it needed to be.
All right. So yeah, this releases on Prime Video the 22nd. Over 3 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Double check while I was talking.
Yep. So check that out. So I checked out the documentary Second Chance, which follows Richard Davis, who invented the concealable bulletproof vests. Interviewing Richard Davis and a lot of people who worked for his company, Second Chance, that made the bulletproof vests from his rise, from being the owner of a bunch of pizza shops that got burnt down to creating bulletproof vests and becoming one of the top manufacturers of those in the country, like giving them out, selling them to lots of police precincts and military. Even George W. Bush was wearing their bulletproof vests. And then through to the company's kind of eventual downfall. It's an interesting look. This guy is very very pro-police. He's the Blue Lives Matter type of guy, to the extent where apparently... so his big thing is he would keep a list of all the people who were saved by his bulletproof vests, and have a list. But then he also secretly had like a bounty. Like if the person who was saved by the bulletproof vest would kill the person who shot them, he would give them a gun. Like that was his thing. He was like very like, all these people who shoot at police officers should be dead. Even to the extent where part of his promotional material, he would make short movies that are included in the documentary. It's very weird. But yeah, it kind of follows his rise up and manufacturing all these bulletproof vests. Like there's lots of footage of him shooting himself, like to show off that his bulletproof vests like work and that kind of stuff, which is crazy. But yeah, like the downfall of Second Chance and like how they ended up like pretty much going into bankruptcy and like that kind of stuff. Pretty rough. And he is like, there's a lot of just sketchy stuff in his backstory that the documentarians kind of delve into. It's an interesting documentary, obviously with interesting people involved. I just don't think it was like compellingly put together. Like it's very slow and drawn out, and then they kind of at points focus very heavily on like side characters, I guess. Like for only emotional like manipulation-esque effect, I guess. In my opinion. Like they reunite like a guy who got shot and the person who shot him like several years later, and they both kind of moved on with their lives and like become better people in the time since. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting documentary. I like it's a subject matter that I haven't really thought about at all. Like bulletproof vests and like how they get made and like that kind of stuff and what's put into them. So yeah, interesting story. Weird dude. Just very eccentric and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's available to watch on DocPlay, I believe, only at the moment. So yeah. Dylan, you watched The Fastest Little Indian. What's up with that?
Why'd you say that so? You never seen this movie?
No. I know of it. I remember seeing the trailer play before like DVDs.
Yeah, I mean it was on TV the other night, so I'd seen it before. I just I watched it. I don't know. I was watching it while having dinner and stuff, and then I probably could have left, but then I was like, movie's only got 40 minutes left. I'll finish it because
only 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, like by the time I had finished, like I had it on the background while like making dinner, and then ate dinner, and by the time that was all done, I had 40 minutes left, so I ended up watching the whole movie. I didn't think I would, but I did, so I checked it off my list. Yeah, for people who haven't watched it, it's pretty good. It's like this story of this dude, Bert, who he like loves this. It's called The World's Fastest Indian because he's got this Indian motorcycle, not some like weird racial undertone for people trying to work that. But yeah, so he's got his Indian motorcycle, and he has a big dream. He's from New Zealand, but he has this big dream of racing across the salt flats in Salt Lake City or wherever that is. Yeah, I think that's right. And he's sort of just he spends all his time working on it, and then when he's like 60 odd or whatever it is, he is starting to get some heart issues, and he just decides, fuck it. He like mortgages his house, he sells everything, and he sets off to America on this big trip to go there. And 3/4 of the movie are just these little they're all just these little things where he just bumps into people. I think they're all just like stories from like sort of the people he met along the way. It's like a sort of a road trip movie. But then when you get down to the back half of the movie, once he actually gets there, he ends up running into issues where he never actually registered to race, and you're supposed to. So then that's a whole dilemma. Like, will he be able to race? Can he get people to help him agree to help for him to do it? Yeah, it's just a funny little story, because I guess, you know, watching it, even though he's a Kiwi, it's it's the same sort of attitude of just, you know, whenever you get these movies where it's like an Australian or a New Zealander traveling across America, there's always these like funny little scenarios where the culture differences and that sort of stuff. And Anthony Hopkins does quite a good job as Bert. His accent's not terrible or anything, so but I enjoy it. I think I remember watching it when it came out. I think I was in like grade 7 or something at the time, probably. Yeah, it's a good little movie, I think.
All right. Let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. And Dylan, you've been able to watch the first few episodes of Sex Education Season 4. Is it living up to what you'd want from the last season of Sex Education?
Yeah, so as of recording, I think I'm 3 episodes in. Probably have finished it, hopefully, by the time this actually goes live. But obviously, we're big sex education fans around here. This is the final season, so coming into it, there's a lot sort of riding on it. I'm enjoying it so far, although I'm having a lot of 3 episodes in, just some of the drama around characters is too stressful for me. I can't, knowing it's the final season, I'm like, I don't know. You're doing things to me. But I mean, the season picks up. I don't know, like how many months it's supposed to be, but like it's right. It starts on the first day of the new school year, and they're in college now, instead of high school. So, because obviously last season ended with their big high school dance or whatever,
their school got shut down. Remember, at the end of last season.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the whole thing got shut down
because it was a sex school.
Yeah, because it was sex school. Yeah, so now they're off to cyber school at the start of this season, and the interesting thing about this school, as soon as they get there, it is very like new age. It's the complete opposite of like if their school was more atypical, you had the cool girls and like whatever else. This school is like the cool kids in this school are the LGBTQ crowd, right? So this makes for an interesting swing of direction, because suddenly Eric, he very quickly gets in with the cool crowd, right? He's suddenly friends with one of the popular kids. Meanwhile, you got fucking Ruby over here who's struggling to make friends. She's eating alone. She's got it's a complete sort of switch of directions as because not all the characters from
season 3 return.
Season 3, like some of them they quickly say, like you'll see like quick runovers and lines, like Ruby will be like, oh, so and so, they don't even talk to me anymore, they're too busy at their other school anymore, like so they went to a different school for whatever reason. I don't need to know why, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, so it's interesting to see like Ruby, who was part of the cool crowd, so like switched over in another direction. The first couple episodes do a pretty good job at like going around the core cast and like catching up to where they are and like setting up the main direction for this season. So with Otis, he comes into school, he has these big ideas coming in. He's like, I'm just going to set up my sex clinic straight away. He's made like a flyer. He's going to make the best thing ever. He gets to school. There's already a sex clinic there being run by someone else. So now that's his drama for the season. Now he's got an arch enemy, because this person says they were doing it before him, but he's like, nah, they definitely copied me. There's no way. Like, there's no way anyone else would have done this. That's complete bullshit. Going down that road. So that's what's happening with Otis. Amy is still here, which is great, because I would have been really annoyed if Amy
Yep.
dropped off. Amy sort of ends up bumping into, and sort of, but not really, but making friends with Isaac, because Isaac's in her art class, and Amy's like struggling with her art class and doing like very Amy things of like, I like art, but I don't get it, and just like saying all these very like things. And then she says, I don't remember the line, but the first time she bumps into Isaac, she says something that is very ableist. And sort of realizes after and ends up apologizing, but it's just, yeah, in her own sort of way. You've got, so Jean, obviously Otis's mum, dealing with the
baby.
The babies. So the babies now I have mums and dolls, and she's on struggle street. Like, she's on full struggle street. That's a thing. Like, the series is definitely, at least where I'm at, building up this whole like single mum life is just not her easy, and she's just not able to cope with it. She's also unable to ask for help. She reckons she can still do everything. She's trying to get back to work when she's barely like able to get up in the morning and like put on clothes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just this this whole sort of stuff there. I'll run down all the main, like, there are other characters returning here, like Cal's here, and which is really good because one of the standout characters, I think, from last season, and then like a few other people as well that come into it. Maeve is over in. Oh, quickly, Jean tries to get a radio job. The radio job is run by a person played by Hannah Gadsby, which I don't know if that's was in any of the trailers or anything, but I did quickly Google it the other day to see if that had been announced, and apparently it was. But yeah, so Hannah Gadsby plays this character who's like the radio show like owner or whatever, who hires Jean to do a sex ed show in like the first episode or whatever. Adam is just on struggle street. He's he's not gone back to school. He's now living with his mom, who split up with his dad, and they're like living separately. He doesn't want to go back to school though, so he's trying to get a job. But yeah, he's also just still sad about Eric, and like he's just a sad boy is basically where we're at. Maeve is over in America. I said England, but Maeve's over in America, obviously, where she left to go at the end of the last season. Her and Otis is talking and whatever else, but she's just mostly focused on her school life. There, the teacher's been played. She's like in this writing class where her teacher's been played by Dan Levy. So as this like big famous writer and stuff. So there's a few big guest people in this season. So really enjoying it so far. I have no idea. They've introduced a lot of. They're doing a thing where it's the last season and they're introducing a lot of new things while also being the last season. So I'm like, cool. See how this all wraps up. And yeah, just some people's relationships where I'm like, oh no, can you all just get along, and that typical sort of thing. But yeah, obviously really enjoying it. Keen to see where it finishes up.
How many
hopefully
episodes?
It's great. And 8 episodes.
Ooh.
And by the time this is up, like I say, so I haven't watched the finale yet, obviously, but I did like just scroll down before. Season finale is an hour and a half, so
okay, so it's like 9 episodes,
basically. Yeah.
All right, very exciting. So I checked out the new documentary series on Netflix, Wrestlers, which follows OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is one of the only, well, I believe what they say, the only independently run wrestling promotion in the States that does live weekly TV. Of course, OVW is known for being the feeder promotion for WWE back in the day, and produced the likes of Brock Lesnar and John Cena and Randy Orton and Dave Batista. But now it is a shell of its former self, kind of, run by Al Snow, who was, of course, a wrestler back in the day, but is pretty much losing money hand over fist. The company has just been bought by 2 local businessmen. One is the mayor of the local city, who doesn't really feature very prominently in the documentary. But the other is other co-owner is Matt Jones, who is a like radio sports personality, and he kind of comes in and he has his own way of thinking about how he's going to turn this company around, and he kind of butts heads with kind of all the wrestling personalities. So it's like an interesting dichotomy and like setup for the show, the documentary, of these 2 warring sides trying to keep this company afloat. Yeah, and it obviously this is from the team that did like Cheer and Last Chance U and those kind of shows, so it's very much like a fly on the wall kind of documentary. Like there are like pieces to camera and that kind of stuff, talking to the different wrestlers, going into their backstories and that kind of like exploring their relationships. Like I feel like Al Snow like is the center point of the entire thing. Obviously, he's running OVW, he's booking all the shows, writing all the storylines. So he is the center of that world. But other interesting characters is Hollywood Haley J, who is like a very prominent female wrestler. Second generation. She's the daughter of Amazing Maria, who is a former. Well, she's a wrestler herself, so she's second generation. But Amazing Maria was like a deathmatch wrestler back in the day. And like their relationship is not very good because she'd be off wrestling and Haley would like be off doing her own thing. But yeah, they both kind of have been brought back together by wrestling, and like trying to have a working relationship kind of. But she is definitely the most charismatic and like interesting character on the show, and like yeah, she's really enjoyable to watch on screen. She's definitely the one who is getting, I would suspect, getting the most buzz out of this, to the extent where I believe she's like got a WWE tryout as of like right now.
This morning it was posted that she was confirmed as
which isn't
having
surprising.
a tryout. Yeah, so.
Which is interesting. So, interesting timing, but yeah. But the other thing is like she's in this relationship with another wrestler called Eric Darkstorm, as like a terribly toxic relationship in the entire season. You're like, come on, Haley, just stop. Because the most ridiculous trait about it is he hates women's wrestling. And she's a women's wrestler. It doesn't make sense. Frustrating. But yeah, there's lots of other fun side characters, and like everybody's trying to find their way to make OVW work. They said about doing this big summer tour where there's going to be like 33 like different shows of different sizes and that kind of stuff, while they're also doing like the weekly television show, all leading up to this big pay-per-view event at the end of the year called The Big One. Yeah, lots of interesting behind the scenes stuff. Like there's even a moment where one of the lead announcer also works as like a marketing person behind the scenes, and like that's his full-time job, and he calls up Fight TV to see what the pay-per-view numbers were for their last pay-per-view. And like, man, it was like 20. You're like, shit, they needed like 500 to like break even. They got like 20. It's like 10 in the States, one here, one there, one all over the world. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Very enjoyable, very engrossing. It's 7 episodes long. Lots of like, there's also some behind the scenes stuff. Like in one episode, Al Snow goes to Ric Flair's last match ever. So there's a lot of footage from behind the scenes of him being there and seeing the crowd, but then also like appearances from like different wrestlers of that era. Yeah, so I would recommend checking out the wrestlers if you're a wrestling fan. It's definitely worth a watch.
Does it feel this, and there's that Apple TV one? It's sort of weird that there was 2 doco series produced around the same time.
Around like similar kind of things. Yeah, it's interesting because like the top guy from that series, Goldie, I believe, coincidentally, also having a tryout at WWE. So yeah, interesting. Dylan, you watched the Nepo movie. You are so not invited to my bat mitzvah.
It's like when you watched the Nepo movie, I was like,
yeah.
The
Nepo movie.
Okay. Yeah. So you were so not invited to my bat mitzvah was pretty good. I think we talked about the trailer, right? I didn't dream that.
We did.
Yeah, I liked it as much as the trailer. I think so it's based on a book and everything, so like it is grounded in a successful YA novel, but the story here is basically that Stacy and Lydia, they're like BFFs forever until they have a fight over something, and then Stacy, they're like all planning their bat mitzvah and all this sort of stuff, and then have a fight, and then she goes, and another girl kisses the guy that she's like got the hots for. It's all very like teen, young girl, or like drama happening here, but it is a lot of fun. I think the older girls and are quite likable in it. The guy who's playing the dude, what's his name? Where is he? This is dude here. Andy Goldfarb was the character. The actor's name is Dylan Hoffman. So shout out to Dylan's. He like plays the worst like the whole time. Every time this dude's on screen, like as the hot teenage dude that all the girls like, he's like the worst person ever, just like biggest like idiot. I'm like, why does anyone like this guy? But I think that's sort of the point. But the other thing is like, so you got Adina Menzel plays the mother of the main girl. Adam Sandler plays the dad of the girl, and the girl is actually his daughter. And then Jackie Sandler plays the mum of the other girl, Lydia, who's they're having the fight with, and that's actually still the. All the Sandlers are in it. Then you got the older sister. It's played by Sandler. When you get to the end of the credits, it just says 4 people with last name Sandler at one stage there on the screen. Adam Sandler's not in the movie a whole lot, but when he is in it, he's quite good. Like I think like having like minimum Sandler doing for this sort of works. It makes it quite funny. One of my favorite parts is when he's just like, I think it's like a weekend. Is like he goes to the older daughter. He's like, "Hey, do you want to come watch a movie with me?" And of course, the older teenage daughter's like, "No, oh my god, Dad, no! Why would I do that? Like, I got all these plans." And he like asks the younger daughter, the one who's having all the fights and stuff, Stacy. And then at first she's like, "Yeah, totally, I'll come." And then she gets in the car, and then suddenly she changes her mind. Then she wants to go to Lydia's party, which is where she catches her kissing the boy early in the film. But my favorite part is he's just like, "Yeah, no worries, cool. I'll just go eat popcorn and watch the movie by myself there and all stuff." And I was like thinking like, this is what I'd ever be if I was a dad. Like it would just be like me trying to like get, "Hey, no worries, kids, do you want to come watch a movie? No, you just want to watch TikTok on your phone? Cool, all right, fuck me, right?" I was like, this is like relatable, even though it's not fully my scenario. But yeah, but lots of like Luis Guzman's in it for a very short time, but he's quite funny. I don't know, like it's definitely a YA movie, but it still tickled my funny brain a few times. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I would suggest it.
All right. That's everything in our watch history. Let's move into a little bit of film news. And again, very light week. Not a lot going on.
What? Why is that? Oh, the strikes are still on.
Strikes still on. Crazy. But yeah, that's. Well, we did have a few major festivals, which we'll get into later. But yeah, not a lot. So news broke this week. Been revealed that the Lando TV series is no more. It is now a movie. Reading from Variety, news broke in July that Donald and Stephen Glover have been tapped by Disney and Lucasfilm to replace Jason Simeon as writers of the new Lando television series. But not so fast. The project is actually being developed as the Lando movie, Lucasfilm confirmed to Variety. Glover debuted as young Lando Calrissian in the 2017 Star Wars tentpole Solo. That's crazy that movie is 6 years old, but yeah, which was a notable box office disappointment for Disney and Lucasfilm. Stephen Glover first dropped the news of a Lando movie on recent appearance of Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast, telling the host, "It's not even a show. The idea right now is to do a movie. Right now, because of all the strike, it's just like kind of telephone all of the information." That's all the info Stephen could provide. Lucasfilm confirmed the news afterwards. Dylan, how do you feel about the Lando Calrissian Limited series being dead and it's now just going to be a film?
Sounds great.
This is what you wanted all along?
Yep, pretty much. I got nothing. Sounds great. They're going to film on real sets instead of the volume. Awesome.
Yeah, hopefully it's closer to Andor than Ahsoka.
I mean, obviously, Donald Glover did such a good job with Lando, like his performance. 100%. Like, who doesn't want to see more? Even the people who don't like that movie, surely everyone agreed he was good. So, yeah, keen. Can't wait. Give me. I'd much rather a movie, a fucking solid 90-minute movie than a 6-episode series that looks like shit half the time.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want from a Lando movie? I guess is an interesting question.
No, just
Dude,
fucking
just
a random
being
tale.
Lando.
Don't
It's just
care.
him on the ship showing on capes.
Why not? I don't need no big tale. I just need just come up with a new villain, have him get into trouble, do something. He meets some old mate who's his friend in the movies. There's in Empire Strikes Back with the stupid thing on his head. I don't know. Like that's where they whatever. I don't care. It's just a movie. Like it's
Do you want
just
Alden Ehrenreich to show back up?
yeah, sure. I liked him fine, but I don't care either way. I don't need tie it in with the thing. Like just come. Here's an idea. Just write an original story. Just write an original story. Write a good script with entertaining characters and whatever
Dylan,
else.
This needs to tie in with the mythology of
No,
everything.
I don't care. Just make a fun movie.
It needs to progress the overall story of Star Wars forward, and needs to bring back at least 6 characters that we know of to appear one for like 20 seconds. That's the requirements of any Star Wars property. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be interesting. Obviously, it is exciting that Donald Glover and Stephen Glover like heavily involved. I guess a movie, just put all that money in one place. Put it all on screen for this shorter story than trying to stretch it out. Obviously, I think probably like time wise, it makes more sense because I think Donald's got like a bunch of different projects in the works as well. So just have one movie be done. And yeah. Do you think would Lando make more money than Solo?
No.
Really? What Solo? Star Wars movie story. So that made $393 million worldwide. You think this Lando movie will make less than that?
I don't think it has a chance to make. If it makes more, it's not much more. Like I don't see this. But this is the problem. Disney wants every Star Wars movie to be gangbusters. Like $1 billion mark every release. I think at some stage you just like instead of going if it can't make that much money, it's a TV show. How about just go appropriate budget for appropriate standards of a spin-off or like side character storyline. Like that was a problem with Solo too. Their expectations.
Well, the problem with Solo is they like the directors walked out.
Well, that was
ballooned the budget dramatically.
Yeah, that too.
So, all right. Other news story I found interesting this week. Reading from Variety, the streaming era began with a promise of nurturing shows without fear of ratings pressure and quick cancellations. Of course, that was a lark. Soon enough, the streamers began slashing shows as quickly and brutally as any Nielsen-obsessed broadcaster, and they were all flooded with the same complaints. The streamers just cancel everything. Nothing gets more than a season. But how true is that really? After all, the streamers looking for hit shows just like traditional networks. If a show gets high viewership relative to the cost of producing it, it gets renewed. Otherwise, it is cancelled. That is how it's worked since the days of black and white TV. So Variety intelligence platform Illuminate collaborated on data exploration to determine how often US-based streaming and linear programs have cancelled TV series over the past 3 years. The data covered all shows, scripted and unscripted, cancelled between 2020 and August 8th, 2023. So overall, streamers cancelled projects 12.2% of the time compared to linear television's 10.8% of the time. Do you want to have a guess who over that period of time had the highest percentage of cancelled shows?
Netflix.
No.
Oh, okay.
Netflix in between 2020 and 2023 only cancelled 10.2% of their programming.
Prime?
No. Prime in that period only cancelled 9.9% of their programming.
Disney.
No, Disney Plus only cancelled 21.1% of their programming in this period.
21.1 and they still haven't won. That's fucking a lot.
That is a lot.
I don't know, you tell me. I don't know.
Max is the highest with 26.9.
Yeah, I don't even think of them.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
26.9% of their programs, like what's that? More than 1 in 4 they cancelled in that period. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. The lowest cancellation Well, Shudder's unfortunately not on this list.
Oh, fucking, this is a fake list there. What are you talking about?
Is Apple TV Plus,
Yeah,
which
okay,
cancelled
makes
4.9%.
I was gonna say, if they cancel anything, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure if they have cancelled anything. But yeah, this while Netflix is often used as a prime example of the streamer that cancels everything, the study found that its streaming service actually cancelled just 10.2% of its shows in the period measured, ranking 5th in the field. That includes high-profile cancellations for shows like the live-action Cowboy Bebop, which was iced less than a month after it launched in 2021. An important caveat to the study, the volume of shows across the different platforms varies widely. Part of that has made Netflix immune for cancellation criticism is the sheer volume of its original content relative to, say, Peacock, for example. Also, contrary to Netflix's reputation as a hair-trigger series executioner, the streaming service is only one of the 8 monitored in the study that actually improved its cancellation rate every year from 2020 through to 2023, making it less busy with the trigger finger over time. So yeah, that's I thought that was interesting because obviously Netflix has a reputation for cancelling anything if it isn't successful right out of the gate.
You got till 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's true. And they don't necessarily cancel shows. They say this is going to be the final season, which isn't the same as canceling a show because but yeah, very interesting numbers wise. Yeah, that's kind of it for the news this week. Let's move into giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about this week in the show notes below. Kicking things off with Lessons in Chemistry, developed by Lee Eisenberg, starring Brie Larson, Lewis Pullman, Arjun Naomi King, Stephanie Cohen, Patrick Walker, Thomas Mann, Kevin Sussman, and Beau Bridges. In the 1950s, Elizabeth Zott's dream of becoming a scientist is challenged by a society that says women belong in a domestic sphere. She accepts a job on a TV cooking show and sets out to teach the nation of housewives way more than just recipes. Dylan, what did you think of this trailer for Lessons in Chemistry?
Yeah, double thumbs up. I thought it looked pretty cool. Brie Larson looks really good in it. Subject matter and everything looks obviously 1950s or whatever, but still something worth talking about. Yeah, the whole cast looked great. Looks like shot well. Like the production design. Yeah, double thumbs up. Keen to watch.
Yeah, this is 2 thumbs up from me. It's been one that's kind of been on my radar for a while. Like, obviously, Brie Larson looks really good in this, and like her working on a TV show, that sounds really cool. Apparently, it's only going to be a miniseries, but based on like a very popular book. It's an interesting concept of a girl who wants to be a scientist becomes the cooking host.
Yeah.
It's like
cooking is cooking's chemistry, you know what I mean?
Cooking is chemistry technically. So, yeah, just like really interestingly shot with like a lot of like panning and camera movements and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. So this is releasing on Apple TV Plus October 13th. Next trailer is for Totally Killer, directed by Nanachka Khan, starring Kiernan Shipka, Olivia Holt, Julie Bowen, and Randall Park. 35 years after the shocking murder of 3 teens, an infamous killer returns on Halloween night to claim a 4th victim. When 17-year-old Jamie comes face to face with the masked maniac, she accidentally time travels back to 1987. Forced to navigate the unfamiliar culture, Jamie teams up with her teenage mother to take down the psycho once and for all. Dylan, what do you think of this latest Blumhouse time travel movie?
Yeah, it looks great. Double thumbs up. Looks very funny. It's like literally just Back to the Future meets
a slasher movie.
No, I was about to say that fucking comedy one that they did too for.
Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day. Yeah, it's like Happy Death Day, like feels like because like that sort of vibe. But it's literally just Back to the Future. Like
to the extent where they
making the joke right at the start of the trailer. Yeah, no, yeah, it looks very, very good. Double thumbs up. I'm keen.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up from me. Great looking cast. Interesting like premise to kick it off. That we haven't really seen, like a time travel slasher movie. Yeah,
Happy Death Day is time travel, but anyway,
it's time loop. Time loop.
Okay, sorry, time loop's different to time travel. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, they won't go back in time.
Okay,
like whereas they're stuck in the loop.
Yeah, okay.
It's completely different.
Completely different. My bad.
And you've got the dual threat of being stuck in the 80s and being killed by a serial killer, so double threat. But yeah, lots of fun interactions, fun talking about, jokes about the present day and not being destroyed by AI, but being destroyed by AI dancing TikToks.
Yeah. Killed by dancers.
Yeah, we're being destroyed by dance.
Also, shout out to that one mum. I haven't even done cocaine yet, and 80s nearly over.
Don't know. The two kids. All right, so Totally Killer is releasing on Prime Video October 6th.
I feel like you can watch this one based on the trailer.
Yeah,
looks like
I'm pretty sure this will be fun.
Yeah, the horror comedy that you could watch. This is fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sabrina.
Yeah. Rip. Next trailer is for The Fall of the House of Usher, created by Mike Flanagan, starring Carla Gugino, Bruce Greenwood, Mary McDonald, Carl Lumley, Samantha Sloan, Tania Miller, Raul Cooley, Kate Siegel, Sorian Sapkota, Zach Gilford, Willa Fitzgerald, Katie Parker, Malcolm Goodwin, Michael Trucco, Henry Thomas, and Mark Hamill. The CEO of a corrupt pharmaceutical company faces his questionable past when his children start dying in mysterious and brutal ways. Dylan, you're a big Mike Flanagan fan.
Well, I just can't believe that, Disney Plus just put out this story, and then Netflix does a version of it, and now they're doing a different version of the exact same fucking story.
What was the Disney?
Remember the Disney one starred Michael Keaton, and then they did and there was the girl in the mine, and then Netflix just put out that one. What are you shaking it? What are you shaking your head about?
I don't think it's definitely not about.
I'm pretty sure it's the same story, right? It's a pharmaceutical, right? No,
I don't think in real life. In real life, I don't think they get the comeuppance like they do in this.
Oh, damn! I thought it was. All right. Anyway, yeah. Look, 3 thumbs up. Obviously, I know what you expect out of me from this. This is one of my most anticipated things of the year, especially in the TV side of things. This look, if this is as good as the trailer looks, this will be one of my favorite TV shows of the year, easily. Come on, I can't wait. Mike Flanagan, give it to me. Inject this shit straight into my veins. I got all the regulars in here, and then I got Mark Hamill. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up from me as well. Like, as a trailer, fantastic. Like, fantastically put together. Obviously, based on a Edgar Allan Poe short story, thus the Nevermore, Nevermore, Nevermore stuff. And I'm definitely intrigued as to what entity is causing that family so much strife. Why is she attacking this family in this way and murdering all these children? And then Rahul Cooley, like, big.
What's it? I can't remember. What's the part?
I don't have anything in black or funeral black. Oh yeah. Wait, satin.
Satin's a poor
no one should wear poor man's silk. No one should wear satin to a funeral unless they died in it.
It's so good. I love how Rahul's fallen into one of Flanagan's regulars now.
Yeah, him and so Kate Siegel.
Well, no, it's like him, Kate Siegel, Carla, Henry Thomas, Mary McDonald. I think Michael Turturro. I think he's worked with. Mike Flanagan is one of the only current like sort of writer directors I feel outside of like Quentin Tarantino, or I guess like Christopher Nolan, like someone who just like consistently 70% of the cast is the same as the last thing. Like just uses a lot of the same people. I love it.
All right. So yeah, this debuts on Netflix October 12th.
Okay.
Next trailer is for Goosebumps, created by Rob Letterman and Nicholas Stoller, starring Justin Long, Anya Yee-Pug, Miles McKenna, Will Price, Zach Morris, Isa Briones, and Rachel Harris. A group of 5 high schoolers embark on a shadowy and twisted journey to investigate the tragic passing 3 decades earlier of a teen named Harry Biddle, while also uncovering dark secrets from their parents' pasts. Dylan, what do you think of this horror series starring Justin Long?
Surprisingly, 1 up, 1 down is where I'm going to go for this one. And I feel like it could have nearly been 2 thumbs up if they didn't use the fucking song so on the nose. Just ridiculous.
Oh, what was the song? It's
fucking Drake or whatever. I can't remember.
yeah, I meant to look it up.
Yeah.
Like,
fucking, I was like, come on now, that's just way too on the nose. And that part
know?
was annoying me. That part was annoying me.
Do you know what they did? They went to song lyrics and looked up Goosebumps and found whatever the first thing that
It
said
really
Goosebumps
feels
in
like
it.
someone googled like songs with Goosebumps in the lyrics and then just like built the trailer around that. Otherwise, I'm surprised how good this actually looks. Considering I know when they said they were doing a Disney Plus series, but I mean it's Hulu, right? Or is it actually
Yeah,
Disney Plus?
well, they're gonna be screening on both for
Okay.
Halloween period. Yeah,
Gotcha. Because I know they were they're targeting that PG thing, but I didn't think they would actually do a PG show. Like I remember seeing the press release or whatever, like Goosebumps, Disney Plus, PG. You know, I'm like, okay, we'll fucking see. But this feels like actually doing it. Like it feels like it's scary for YA scary. And
well, yeah, it
looks
seems
pretty
like
good.
a step up from the movies that they
Yeah,
did recently. Yeah,
yeah. So I'm mildly interested now. To be honest, I gave zero fucks before, but I'm mildly interested now.
yeah, I'm one up, one down. Like, I completely forgot this was going to be a thing until I saw the trailer pop up in one of the feeds. I look for trailers, but yeah, it looks solid. You know, I don't know why in particular this is Goosebumps. Like, are they going to bring characters? Is they going to like how's it going to fit into the world of Goosebumps? Or are they going to tie
It
it in?
sounds like
Other than
one based on one particular short story, but maybe they have like others like as mini things that
many
happen.
things
Or,
tie in, yeah. But yeah, you know, it looks interesting enough, and clearly it's coming out at a fitting time. So Goosebumps will release on Disney Plus here in Australia on October 13th.
Halloween.
Last trailer for this week: Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, directed by James Wan, starring Jason Momoa, Patrick Wilson, Amber Heard, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, and Nicole Kidman. After failing to defeat Aquaman the first time, Black Manta wields the power of the mythic Black Trident to unleash an ancient and malevolent force. Hoping to end his reign of terror, Aquaman forges an unlikely alliance with his brother Orm, the former king of Atlantis. Setting aside their differences, they join forces to protect their kingdom and save the world from irreversible destruction. Dylan, what do you think of the latest trailer the first trailer for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom?
I'm gonna go one up, one down. It mostly looks pretty meh to me, like just typical another superhero DC movie, and I'm mostly just like I don't really give a fuck. But Patrick Wilson looks really good in it, and Yahya Abdul Mateen looks really good in it. So with that, I'll give it one up, one down. Otherwise, for the majority of it, I don't really care.
I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I think it was really good. I think this one they're clearly letting Jason Momoa have more personality about his character.
Well,
I don't know if this was shot first before Fast X or Fast Not, but it felt like
he's got story credit on this.
Yeah, he was part of the story team. But yeah, it feels like he got to add more to the character and have more involvement. You know, he's not just a hard ass like brooding dude the entire time. You know, he's making jokes and wants to be friends with his brother, and you know, it seems like a bros trip. You know, to to find the solution. The most interesting to me is this is almost the exact same cast from the last movie, which is almost unheard of in these kind of movies. It's like
superhero movies.
we'll just kill off the villain from the last film and then bring in a whole bunch of new people. But they're building up Black Manta from the last film, making him stronger and like giving him another round against Aquaman. So I think that's an interesting point of difference to any other superhero movie recently. Yeah, I mean, it looks solid. Obviously, you've got all the water stuff that makes it stand out and different, and giant trench creatures. So yeah, I'm keen. So yeah, this is coming to cinemas on Boxing Day. All right, let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And this week's top 3 is top 3 most anticipated movies from Toronto International Film Festival or Venice Film Festival. It's pretty self-explanatory. Dylan, what's your number 3?
Well, Yeah, so it was top 3 combined, right? It wasn't. I wasn't so
Yeah,
you know, you
combined.
were like, it's pretty self-explanatory until
Until you ask that question. Yeah.
until I asked that question. But it's all right. I got it right this week. My number 3 is Women of the Hour, which is Anna Kendrick's debut directorial film. She was going to show up and do the thing, but then decided not to because Stan with the acting friends, which was good to see. But yeah, reading about it after all that news and the one screenshot that's been released, I was like, what is this? Like, because you see the pictures released of dating game, like, okay, what is this, like a rom-com or like what's the go? And then you read about it, it's like true story about a fucking serial killer who was on a dating show. I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, truth is stranger than fiction type thing happening here. So yeah, very keen. Got decent reviews and reaction out of the festival itself. So a lot of I feel like there's a lot more actors in the last like 5 years turning to directing.
Yeah.
Which is I like to see. It's like sort of, hey, once you sort of learn that craft, you can pick up things. Why not give it a go?
Yeah, you know, it's just the industry has more opportunities now, so why not?
Especially good to see it's not just men like Anna Kendrick, you know. So cool.
Yeah. My number 3, Poor Things. Unsurprising that it should make the list. Obviously, it won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival. It's sitting at a 98% Rotten Tomatoes. I've seen the film being described as incredibly wild, but also considered an Oscar contender for several of the cast. Yeah, very excited. Super excited. It got moved forward here in Australia from 18th of January to Boxing Day. So it'll count towards this year's best of 2023 stuff instead of next year.
So number 1 on my list was Poor Things.
Okay.
It sounds absolutely fucked up, which I love. It's literally just like reading about all the wild things that are supposedly in this movie. Insane. But like Yorgos, what's his name?
Lanthimos.
Lanthimos. Like I've watched all his movies, but like I've seen Dogtooth. Well, no, I feel like I've seen the only one of his I haven't watched. I need to maybe watch before this comes out. I feel out of his main stuff is The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which I never got around to actually watching. But he is such a weird style. Like, and it's like even when you look at like his more commercial stuff, which would just be the favorite, I guess. Like a straightforward movie, even that's a weird movie. So, and then reading about this, it's basically Frankenstein, but it's a woman, and like take that down that road and see how it comes out. Emma Stone apparently is just having the wildest fucking time. Mark Ruffalo too. So I don't know. Everything I read about it, I was like, I can't wait. This sounds like really insane at the same time. I'm surprised you're keen because I've read it's actually quite disturbing at times. So
I mean, it's female Frankenstein, but
yeah,
weird.
Like it's not a horror movie, but like apparently there's a lot of sexual stuff, and then like sexual stuff that's also fucked up at the same time. So
like The Favorite,
I guess. Well, no, no, not at all. Like more like body horror stuff. What it sounds like to me. Like
I don't know. I haven't heard that. So
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So
we'll see.
But yeah, very keen. I can't wait.
My number 2, American Fiction. So this is the film that took out the Toronto International Film Festival's Audience Awards. It's from a first-time director called Jefferson. It's starring Jeffrey Wright, and it's described as Jeffrey Wright stars as Monk, a frustrated novelist who's fed up with the establishment profiting from blank entertainment that relies on tired and offensive tropes. To prove his point, Monk uses a pen name to write an outlandishly black book of his own, a book that propels him to the heart of hypocrisy and the madness he claims to disdain. Yeah. Clearly just has gotten incredibly positive reviews across the board. Sounds like it's very funny and satirical. And yeah, apparently Jeffrey Wright's fantastic in it, so I'm very keen for that. American Fiction. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 was The Boy and the Heron, which feels like a sort of safe pick, but here we are. Still haven't watched the trailer. Still not going to watch the trailer.
No. Apparently there's birds in it. That's what
Apparently, a bird is in the film.
Have you seen the
confirmed.
stills?
I've seen a still. Maybe
A still with
maybe
a
even
bird
two
with a bunch of
stills.
teeth?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
And I've seen a picture of a boy. I know what he's doing, but he's doing something.
Still no Australian release date, as far as I can tell.
I don't know. And hopefully, can they just put it out? Can they just put it out, like now, not dubbed? You know what I mean? Like, what? I don't want to wait. Like,
That's a good question. Is that what's holding it up, do you reckon?
I assume so, because Disney usually, you know.
Well, I mean, it's won't be released by Disney here in Australia.
But yeah, but usually Disney is involved. With at least every other Ghibli film, they've been involved in the process to produce them.
I'm trying to
and get the
remember
dub and-
with the witch and the witch flower or whatever it was called, the 3D one.
Yeah,
whether there was
that
a massive
doesn't count.
delay. No, but
there
like
wasn't-
timing
there
wise,
wasn't a massive delay. That's for that one.
no.
So,
So hopefully soon.
mm.
My number one, Hitman, the latest film from Richard Linklater, starring Glenn Powell. Everybody's calling it a fantastic, like, comedic thriller. A starring role for Glenn Powell, who's like been in a bunch of cool stuff. Like, people probably most know him now from Top Gun Maverick. But yeah, this is the one that I heard lots of people talking about. Lots of reviewers saying it's fantastic, star-making performance. Was worried because it still had not been picked up by anybody, and then today it's announced that it got bought by Netflix, who said they will be releasing in cinemas, but it likely means we won't be seeing it anytime soon. So, yeah, that's my number one. Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
This week, I want to watch the. It's not coming out here, but anyway, I want to watch It Lives Inside, which is this Indian American horror movie that's coming out. I never actually heard of it until the trailer played before. I believe when I was up in Brisbane, it played before what's that movie? Yeah, that movie. Fucking, I already forgot the name. Don't even care anymore. But yeah, played before that. It looks to be playing on like cultural myths and stuff of like Indian culture or something like that. But it looked really cool. It looked different. Like it's a horror movie, but it, like, what was happening didn't look like something I'd seen before. So I was really intrigued by that. So that would be my movie pick for this week. TV show, I got nothing.
The rest of Sex Education.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Yeah, my TV show, Sex Education, for sure. Also the Continental. But then the Apple TV series Still Up is one that I'm interested in checking out, starring Antonio Thomas from The Good Doctor and Craig Roberts from Submarine and that kind of stuff, as two insomniacs who can't go to sleep, who become friends because they don't sleep.
Side note, you just reminded me of something. Did you see
Yeah.
that film? I can't remember the name. It was at one of the film festivals. I was reading about it. Like a documentary about this like fucked up experiment that happened on this dude who got like all his clothes taken and had to like.
Yes.
What
So
the
apparently,
like,
there were a guy was auditioning for a reality TV show.
I thought he was.
And the thing was, he was stripped bare, put in a room, and then the only things he could get are things he won in sweepstakes.
Yeah.
And he thought it was just audition footage. It wouldn't be shown to everybody, but that was the TV show. Is what my understanding of reading like a short synopsis.
Yeah. I think that sounds like what I.
That was one of the more interesting documentaries from the festivals.
I was like, that sounds fucked. Where can I watch it? Like, which is a terrible thing to say, but that's
and then on the film front, I want to check out Cassandra, which is releasing on Prime Video, starring Gael Garcia Bernal as like a gay amateur wrestler.
that one. Yeah,
that one got very good reviews back at Sundance earlier this year. Finally releasing on Prime Video.
True story.
All right, let's know what you're excited to check out. What are your top 3 things from TIFF and Venice and Telluride let us know by going to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter and let us know on X, or jump into our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here, what do you want to watch? Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. Tell people about the show. Leave us 5 stars. And you can leave 5 stars. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.